Everyone in the village believed her mother was wicked. No matter how kind he was, no matter how patient he became, no matter how much her daughter loved him, the woman said no. Not once, not twice, but every single time his name was mentioned. And the reason she gave? That man will ruin your life. Years later, when the truth finally surfaced, the marriage had already happened, and the damage had already been done. Adewale was not rich. He was not loud. He did not arrive with convoys or promises that sparkled like lies. But he was steady. In the small town of Okero, people noticed men like Adewale not because they announced themselves, but because they showed up. When a neighbor's roof leaked, he helped fix it. When an old man's motorcycle refused to start, he stayed until it did. When children ran past his shop after school, he always had a smile waiting. That was how Zainab first noticed him. Not through grand gestures, not through sweet talk, but through consistency. Their conversations began slowly, greetings that lingered too long, shared laughter that felt accidental but wasn't. Over time, comfort grew into affection, and affection matured into something serious. Adewale loved Zainab openly, respectfully, with intention, and when he finally told her he wanted to marry her, she said yes without hesitation. There was only one problem. Her mother, Madame Salwa, was known in the community as a disciplined woman. Uncompromising. She had raised Zainab alone after her husband's death, and many admired her strength. But the moment Adewale's name entered her house, her demeanor changed. The first time Zainab mentioned him, her mother stopped cooking. She didn't shout. She didn't argue. She simply said, "That man will not enter this house." Zainab laughed it off, thinking it was about money. But it wasn't. Adewale tried to do things the right way. He came with elders. He spoke respectfully. He lowered his eyes. He explained his intentions. Madame Salwa refused to look at him. Not even once. "Take him away," she told the elders. "I will never agree." The elders were confused. Adewale had no bad reputation, no known enemy, no scandal. They asked her why. She stood up, her voice calm but final. "I said no." That was all. Months passed. Zainab cried quietly at night. She argued gently during the day. She begged. But her mother's refusal did not soften. It hardened. People began to talk. Some said Madame Salwa wanted a richer man. Others said she was jealous of losing her daughter. Some even whispered she was wicked. Adewale suggested stepping aside. "I don't want to be the reason you lose your mother," he told Zainab. But Zainab shook her head. "I will not marry another man just to keep peace," she said. And so, she made a decision that would define her life. She married Adewale without her mother's blessing. The wedding was small, quiet, missing the one person Zainab hoped would eventually forgive her. Madame Salwa did not attend. She did not send a message. She did not ask questions. She simply closed her door. At first, Zainab believed love would be enough, and for a while it was. Adewale worked hard. He treated her gently. He listened. But strange things began to happen. Small misunderstandings turned into heavy silences. Joy came, but left quickly. Peace felt temporary. Worst of all, Madame Salwa fell ill. Very ill. Zainab returned home, carrying guilt like a heavy load. Her mother lay on the bed, thinner, quieter, but her eyes were sharp. For days, she said nothing. Then one night, she asked Zainab to sit. "I did not hate your husband," Madame Salwa said weakly. "I feared him." Zainab froze. Years ago, before Zainab was born, Madame Salwa had been engaged to a man who looked, spoke, and even laughed like Adewale. A man who began kindly. A man who became cruel. He had beaten her, controlled her, almost destroyed her. When she finally escaped, She swore never to allow that kind of man near her daughter. When Adewale appeared, her past returned. "I saw his face," she whispered, "and I saw my pain." But she never explained. She never warned. She never gave Adewale a chance to be different. Zainab cried. Not because of the past, but because the truth came too late. Zainab returned to her marriage changed. She loved her husband, but doubt had been planted. Adewale noticed. The silence between them grew. What Madame Salwa feared never truly existed, but the fear itself had already damaged everything. Not long after, Madame Salwa passed away. Zainab mourned her mother. Adewale mourned a marriage that no longer felt whole. Some warnings come without explanation. Some fears hide behind silence. And some truths, when delayed, hurt more than lies. Madame Salwa tried to protect her daughter, but by refusing to speak, she planted the very pain she hoped to prevent. And Zainab learned a painful truth. Love can survive opposition, but silence can kill it.